Good morning guys, welcome to day 3 of the mini-series, the final day unfortunately. Got another fantastic night's sleep in the tent last night. I find so long as I get the car pretty much level, I always just sleep absolutely fantastically in that tent. So last night, just after I filmed that last piece for you guys, I was getting some dinner underway, cooking up some burgers right as the sun was setting. Really nice. But then the second that sun kind of crossed over the horizon, thousands and thousands of mosquitoes and these like giant flying ant things just like descended upon the camp. So I was like swatting them away, trying to cook my food. It was a bit of a nightmare, not too bad. I ended up eating dinner in the car to get a bit of a break from them and then headed to bed pretty shortly after that. So that's the only downside to this bay. I mean, it's fantastic otherwise, but the insect situation, as soon as that sun goes down, absolute nightmare. So plan for today is going to be to chuck the tent down pretty early on. They do forecast rain, although as with the rest of the trip, it looks like a nice, pretty nice clear day. But I'll chuck the tent down anyway, get a bit of breakfast underway, then I might go for a little bit of a meander around the area before heading back to Perth shortly after then. Anyway, first things first, let's get some breakfast underway. I'm happy to report that the new organizer that I built for the pantry has been working absolutely fantastically this trip. Stoked with how that's turned out and everything's managed to stay in its allocated space. I think I'll have to make up something similar for the main pantry next because I'm experiencing the same problem with that one. As soon as you hit a few bumps, everything on that bottom shelf just jumbles itself around. But so far, this one's working great. Breakfast is served. Check that out, looks all right, hey? Man, the only problem with this camp chair, like I love it because it's super comfy, but it doesn't have a table or a cup holder. Like what's going on there? Even those cheap Kmart chairs have a bit of a pocket on the side, but this one's got nothing, which is just quite an inconvenience. I reckon I might have to get into the workshop and try and knock up a solution to that pretty soon. But for now, time to eat some breakfast. So whenever I go forward driving or camping with the Ranger, I've always got to take it relatively easy when like tackling tough four-wheel drive obstacles or bouncy terrain. And I thought you guys might be interested in seeing why that is. So we're under the back of the car at the moment, and this is my factory rear leaf spring. If you're familiar with leaf springs, you'll know that they're supposed to have a nice gentle curve with the lowest point being where the axle is. So whenever you hit those bumps, it's got a bit of spring to soften those bumps a little bit. Mine, however, because they're factory, are not designed to take a 500 kilogram canopy. They're sitting basically flat, which means I've got no give left at all, and then they're pretty much maxed out before I even hit any bumps. So what can I do about that? Well, obviously I can replace those leaves with ones that are rated to withstand 500 kilogram weight. That'd be a good fix for the back end. But to be honest, the front suspension is not doing much better either. Plus, I'm pretty sure all my shockies are on their way out. So what I've decided to do, and I'm pretty excited about this, I've booked the ute in to have a full suspension overhaul, replace pretty much everything in the whole suspension system. I'm getting that done by a store in Perth that I've heard absolutely fantastic things about. They can't fit me in for about a month and a half, so I don't mind waiting to get a job done right. I'll give them a plug once I've had some first-hand experience with them, but the reviews are fantastic. As for the kit itself, I've done a lot of research online to try and find out what brand is going to be best, and people tend to agree that Dobinson's kits run really well in these utes. So that's what I'm going with, a full Dobinson's kit throughout, but I have decided to upgrade the Dobinson's shocks to Coney shocks, and the main reason for that is that the Coneys are hydraulic shocks, whereas the Dobinson's are gas. And the hydraulic just gives you a little bit more comfort. And with an IFS ute like this, with the torsion bar front suspension, I'll take every bit of extra comfort that I can get. Oh, that was lucky. I'm glad I put my tent away when I did. It's just started to sprinkle with rain and these skies are looking pretty nasty at the moment. I reckon it won't be too long before it's absolutely bucketing down around here. So couldn't have worked out much more perfect really. Finally packed up for the last time. I'm just gonna go for a bit of a drive around, explore the area a bit more, try and make the most of this last day before eventually heading back to Perth. I just remembered that in episode 1, we said we're going to name the mini-series after something that happened on the trip. So we kind of spoke about calling it Nature's Revenge after that storm that started rolling in on Monday afternoon, but that kind of fizzled out into nothing, so probably not that fitting to call it Nature's Revenge. Other options I've got in my head at the moment are the aerial mini-series, just given the first foray into drone shots for the channel. So maybe the aerial mini-series, or maybe the unexpectedly pleasant mini-series, considering it was supposed to be stormy weather. I undenied whether or not to still come on the trip, but decided a cold and wet camping trip is still a good camping trip to me. So yeah, aerial or unexpectedly pleasant. I suppose you guys will already know what it's called because that's what the title of the video will be. But at the moment, live right now in person, it's still up in the air. So we'll see how we go. Well, the compressor's out, which unfortunately means this little camping trip is coming to an end. Couldn't have asked for much better conditions either, really. Had some lovely blue skies, sunny weather, not much wind, absolutely sensational. I know the clouds are coming over now, but that's okay because we're heading home. And being just after a long weekend, I had this entire place completely to myself. Like, I think in the last 3 days, I've seen maybe 2 or 3 people. Yesterday, I don't think I saw anybody the entire day, just fantastic. So that's a bit of a camping tip for you. If you want the place entirely to yourself, come just after a long weekend. Take a couple of days off work, it's well worth it in my opinion. Anyway, I'm gonna chuck these tyres back up to road pressure and then head back to Perth. Thanks so much for watching and I'll catch you guys in the next one.